A pleasure to meet y'all at last. And now today, it's the last week of December 2020. It's pretty much the last 50 hours or so of the year of 2020. So for anyone out there that pretty much despises this year, then well, you're pretty much in luck. But for me, I'd say 2020 was a pretty good opportunity to keep my work going on the channel, as well as outside of my filmmaking work with Kaiju Force Neo. But for today, I'm going to be talking about one last blaster. One last product that Hasbro offers to us here in recent times. And because I've talked a little bit about it yesterday, well, here it comes. The big reveal. 3, 2, 1. Yep. The all-new Nerf Mega Motostryke. This is in fact one of the most recent Mega Blasters that we have right here, but it is also the second one so far to ever utilize clip system based capabilities. Now, it's been a long time since we've ever had another clip system blaster that happened to be a Mega Blaster, but this blaster in particular is actually the second. The first was actually the Centurion CS6. And of course, being that it was the first ever outing that Hasbro had with the Mega lineup, which was a brand new series at the time in 2013, this is in fact something that we've been waiting a long time for Nerf to bring back. And now that we see this, I got a feeling that Hasbro is still holding out as much hope and possibility as much as possible. Because the Motostryke here actually has gotten some pretty good reviews. And yep, it's motorized. So essentially speaking, the Motostryke is in fact a clip system blaster with motorized action, kind of making it similar to that of some others that we've had in the past, like the Strife or the Raven, or many other battery-powered blasters that we've had out there. But of course, we can't also forget to mention that, well, because this is in fact Nerf's second outing in the Clip System Mega Blaster series itself, I gotta say, 7 years of not so hammering probably was a good thing out there, because Nerf actually was able to learn from their mistakes at that point when the Centurion was released. And now that we have this, I got a feeling that the Mega series is certainly not going to be going away anytime soon. Just like with the Ultra series, a lot of new innovations and a lot of new technological advancements and capabilities are probably going to be a good thing for Hasbro in many cases. So the Motostryke itself, quite honestly, I feel like that it is in fact ergonomically pretty well, because honestly most Mega Blasters that I've owned throughout my life, they weren't necessarily as ergonomically done well, nor were they that comfortable to hold. But this, I feel like, changes the whole perspective on that. The Centurion, of course, was a blaster that I had as far back as when it first came out in summer 2013. And I gotta say, that thing was almost a bit of a slew just to handle, because of its really long priming stroke, and also because of how long the whole entire thing is. It had some permanent parts to it as well. So that was kind of a big no-no in and of itself. Luckily, of course, the Centurion that I picked up, because I was able to watch some videos on it with some reviews that people were able to give out on the product, I was able to modify my Centurion so that way the locks aren't really going to get the best of me. But the Motostryke is something you really don't need to worry about based on locks and anything like that, because this is pretty much what you get. From front to back, this is basically what you get. And I gotta say that for Nerf's second outing in the clip system business in the Mega lineup itself, but also being that this is in fact another motorized space blaster out there, I'd say they did a pretty good job at this. And just like that, I'm pretty much out. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the clip itself, because Honestly, it's been a long time since we last had a Mega Dart clip, and quite honestly, I kind of like what this thing is like. It's kind of like one of those semi-opaque, semi-clear type things, because after all, it does bear the same exact sort of aesthetic to it. One side, it's nice opaque with a sort of red color that happens to match with the blaster itself. Yeah, you see that? Kind of matches with the sweater as well that I'm wearing here. But the other side is clear, basically, so you can tell how many darts you have loaded in. And, of course, unlike the Centurion's clip, this one takes 10 darts. Yeah, 10 of them. That's 4 more than Centurion's sniper-style clip, which basically had an angled sort of thing on here. But this one, it's kind of flat. Although it does have some slight filleted edges here, which are kind of more like a polygon sort of shape in a way. Basically, it's pretty much like the same thing that you might expect to get when it comes to like a regular elite sort of long clip like this. Or you could call it a magazine. I guess it doesn't really matter at this point because, honestly, I can't really say that this is a bad thing, but I'm kind of encountering a little bit of like resistance and friction. It might be because, well, Hasbro still hasn't really perfected how to fluently place in and take out a clip because, of course, even though I'm pressing on the release button as hard as I can, it doesn't fall out like that. I mean, there were a few examples of blasters that I've had talked about already that happen to release clips very easily whenever you press on the release button, but this is not one of those examples. I just have to take it out, and there is in fact some resistance when I'm trying to pull this out. It might have something to do with the shape of it when it's going like the top half of it. Whoop. So basically speaking, this is kind of what the shape of it is like. Honestly, I don't really know how Hasbro doesn't do perfect at this, but then again, this is their second time at this, and they've waited 7 years to come back at it again, so I guess it's fine if we cut them some slack here. But that's basically how you put the clip into the blaster, and there's unfortunately no like storage in the back of the stock here, or nothing like that. There have been several blasters that we've had out there, mostly sniper ones out there, including the Aftersought and the Longstrike. They were able to store extra magazines inside the stock, but this is not one of them. The Centurion, of course, couldn't do that either, just to be fair. But anyways, let's just get on to the motorized action. So that's basically what it sounds like. It takes 4 C batteries, which you just put right back here into the stock. I mean, the Infinus is certainly not alone when it comes to proper balancing of the batteries, although, okay, that's weird. So apparently it's not totally balanced because the front is not as top heavy as I probably would have expected. But of course, putting in 4 C batteries in the back does in fact allow the weight to be adjusted more to the stock than to the barrel here. It's also because the barrel is not that long, but I can also say balance is kind of fair when I hold it with both hands, but when one-handing it, I kind of have to worry about it toppling over because I'm not even doing this voluntarily. It's just falling like that simply because of how the weight of it is like. I mean, it's causing a sort of imbalance here, but with the clip removed, yeah, the clip pretty much adds on to this, so be careful out there if you're trying to one-hand this thing. But one thing out there that I feel like that stands out from every other aspect that I've already talked about this blaster would be the trigger pull. Yep, that's the trigger pull in and of itself. It's honestly one of the most smoothest, fluent trigger pulls that I might have ever had the irony of pulling back on. So, trigger pull is probably like the best aspect you could probably look at when it comes to the Motostryke in and of itself. I'd say that it is certainly worth $40 just for the fact that, well, this is in fact a new way of Hasbro pretty much getting back into the game with the Mega lineup, and the fact that this is the only blaster we have right here that happens to be an actual Mega Blaster and not just a Mega Accustrike Blaster, because we've been getting a lot of those lately. But there's one other thing in particular that I'm going to want to try here before I pretty much conclude this whole review. Yep, invisible at timing. And yeah, let's not forget that, well, this still isn't really the best in terms of a lot of things, but I'd say it's worth $40 for a lot of things in general. If you're hoping to find yourself a good, well, clip system blaster like this, with a long clip and all that good stuff, but also trying to bond itself with the Mega lineup itself, then I suppose that this would be worth the money. This was also on sale, as a matter of fact, at Target. About 10 bucks off. You could probably go ahead and pick one up for that kind of price, or you could just go somewhere else and pick it up for 40. But in my case, $40, which turned to 30 for this thing, was probably well spent. But now, here comes invisible integration, firing. That's pretty satisfying in and of itself. I mean, the sounds that come out of it are just extravagant, to say the least. Well, you know what? This is it. This is the blaster that I go out on, for now. There are, in fact, a lot of other blasters out there that I haven't already talked about that are still in my collection right now. But the thing is, I'm pretty much out of time. I gotta get ready for the new year, 2021. And by that time, you can expect Nerf Secret Revealed Bolts of Intrigue to be out completely. As a matter of fact, this blaster right here will pretty much be part of a cameo. And maybe even some others, like the Ultra 3, the Rival Saturn, and so on. Because I've already talked about those, I could say for sure that this whole entire experience, Nerf Secret Revealed Aftersought, was certainly one of a kind. But now, it's time for me to draw the line and close the chapter on this book. Because even though the Nerf Secret Revealed original series has died off, and Bolts of Intrigue is pretty much bound for its release after a while, and this is pretty much coming to an end as well, I could tell you firsthand that Nerf Secret Revealed, the franchise itself, is long but over. Way long but over. There's still a lot of other things, though, that are pretty much going to be standing in my way from being able to continue this series in and of itself. But, like I've said, there's a lot of other blasters out there that I might want to talk about at some other point in time. But until that happens, it could be years, or even months, or weeks, or even tomorrow. But you never really know for sure. It all depends on what kind of work I got, what kind of work I've canceled, what kind of work I have just started. But for now, I'm Jay Nowak, and I'm currently signing off on Nerf Secret Revealed Aftersought. The original series is down, this is going down now, and Bolts of Intrigue is bound for its full-on official release here on my channel and outside of it. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.